Okay, welcome back to the channel everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Penrith Golf Hub, and it's the new Titleist TSi2 TSi3 fairway review for you in this particular video. So two new offerings along with the TSi family. I've recently done the driver review. You can go and check that out on my channel. That is now live, and some really good results with those. So really interested to see how the fairway wood, the 3 would perform. So we've got both models here. We're going to test them both in this particular video. Same shaft. We've got TrackMan on the floor, so we'll provide you with some numbers and data, and obviously my personal feedback of the looks and the feel and the performance. Okay, so we're going to start off with TSi2 to start with, and I'm going to play these off the ground. I've got the same shaft, which is same as what I actually had in the driver, which is the Hazardous RDX in the smoke. So set up pretty much the same as like the driver. Got this set to A1. Again, the adjustability is there in that neck seat, as we've always seen with Titleist. We've got a fixed weighted screw, which is positioned in the centre at the back of the head. So again, trying to pull that weight low and deep and away. Ease of launch, get that ball sort of launching, a little bit more sort of forgiveness on the actual shot. First impressions, and I'm casting my mind back here from when I did the review of the the standard TS2 TS3. I wasn't a great fan of the way it sat. It sat a little bit closed in that head position, a little bit toed in. And this is similar in this TS2. I'm just not quite liking the way that's set. It looks like there's a lot of loft there. This is the 15 degree. I've got it set at 15, but it looks like a 5 wood in my hand. It looks like there's a lot of loft, and it just looks like it's going to point left a little bit. I'm going to hit a few shots first anyway. Obviously the shaping of the head is lovely. You've got that gloss top finish, so it ties in beautifully with the drivers that we saw. Okay, that's not a bad opening shot. Very nice and neutral, actually. Now, many of you know I'm not really a fairway wood sort of golfer, so these never always sit comfortable with me after I've just hit that one pretty straight down the centre line. But just as a confidence thing, they don't always appeal to me, to be honest, fairway woods. Okay, that's quite nice. That was a touch in that heel, not a lot, but just a fraction of that heel, but that's flown lovely again. Very nice and neutral. So possibly that sort of forgiveness levels there are kicking in maybe when you sort of see those slight heel, slight toe sort of connections, but that carrying out at 273 is very healthy. Very good as a backup driver option, you know, on that slightly sort of shorter par 4, tighter hold. Maybe just need that little bit more accuracy. Again, launching up there, that's out there. That is really out there. Yeah, 280 carry. This is really good. Okay, so that feels pretty fast off the club face. We're technology-wise, we're not seeing the ATI face that we saw on the driver, maybe because of the size of the head, we're not maybe being able to put that into the sort of technology, but we are seeing the sort of slot in the back of the sole, sort of just behind the club face, obviously helping those slight low hits. So typically fairway wood hitting off the ground, the miss of the strike would tend to be more low in the club face. So that's again there just to try and help that, keeping that ball speed up. And that was a low strike. So that's, the launch is always going to come out lower. Again, it's very straight, but that was more of a lower. So yeah, dropping off a little bit of speed, just purely suffering the carry distance there because of that launch angle coming out 5 degrees. That was very low in the club face. But as a bad shot, it sort of got up there, hasn't it? It's done a sort of job. Okay, and that was a better strike. Completely different ball flight. Up there very easily in that launch. 160 on that ball speed, 281 carry, really nice. Okay, so some fiery numbers there, some good ball speeds. I'm hitting those off the ground, so you can obviously put that up onto a T-peg. I'm just going to change the loft setting here, and I'm going to just reduce a little bit of loft, so knocking this down in loft, and I'm also just going to make this a little bit flatter in its lie. So C4, okay, and so just knocking this loft down a little bit will just let that club face sit a little bit more open. It'd be interesting just to see how this sits now for me. Yeah, and that's better. It's still a little bit, it looks a bit like an onset. It just looks to be a lot of loft there, to be honest, but it does look a little bit better. Not quite as pointing left. Okay, Again, a little bit low in the face, I'm getting picky, but flown very nicely. Okay, so let's move, that's TSi2, let's move into the TSi3. Right, okay, so just swap the same shaft, the RDX smoke shaft, into the TSi3 head. Again, 15 degree, and again, I'm sitting that, I've just had a quick look at that in that A1 position, and it was very, very similar, a little bit, what to my eye looks a little bit hooded. So I've done the same thing, I've dropped that down to C4, just losing a little bit of loft, which is just trying to open that face and just sit it a little bit more pleasing to my eye. So that's probably just the only negative I'd have with these fairways. I think the back of the head is absolutely stunning shape, it's beautiful, it's a classic Titleist sort of shaping in a way. It just looks a lot of loft, it just looks a little bit towed in, so it just doesn't quite sit with me there. Size the head wise doesn't look massively different there, to be honest. Let me just pop TSi2 down next to it. Yeah, probably just a little bit short from that face to the back, a little bit more of a squat head, probably, if anything, there. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, let's get this first one hit. TSi3. Okay, just moving up the left, but again, that's flown out very nicely. Again, what I saw with the drive was a slightly different acoustic sound with the two, and probably just on that first shot there, just hearing that a little bit more muted with the TSi3. So again, technology wise, as we see with the driver, TSi3, just a little bit more adjustability. Neck sleeve, as we see in the TSi2, but again, we've got this weight shifting from that neutral to heel to toe. Okay, I did mention about it in the drive, and I'm just so pleased to not use the words draw and fade, because I think it just misleads a lot of golfers, doesn't it? That sort of heel and toe section. So really trying to help support those slight little mishits. So if there's a pattern of more of a heel strike, it would make sense to move that weight a little bit more in the heel, get a bit more mass behind that strike pattern, and vice versa if it's middle or if it's into that toe. So the whole system here from the driver, which was in that back section of the head, has now moved forward. So it's a similar thing, unscrew it, it lifts up, you just shift that weight across to where you want it to be, and then just sort of secure it back down. Very simple to sort of do. Okay, that's a little bit off that toe, but again, that's just flown very nicely. So not really seeing that fly any lower at the moment, those first few shots. I thought I might expect it to be a little bit more sort of lower launching, a little bit more piercing, but at the moment that's popping up just as easy as TSi2. Again, a little bit off that toe, just not quite striking that as good. It's working on that left. I think probably with this, where the weight just starts to move a little bit close to that club face, when you do miss the middle, you start to feel a little bit more of a twisting of the head, but it's not really affecting the distance too much there, so we've still got a good level of forgiveness. That's probably the best one of the lot there with a TSi3. Very neutral, better strike, lovely ball flight. Okay, we'll hit one more shot. Oh, just a little bit dragged up the left. But definitely for me, the setting of C4 just looks a little bit more pleasing to my eye. A little bit more muted sound I quite like in the TSi3. Okay, again, just a little bit tracking up that left side, but just flying away quite nicely. There's no issues of getting that ball up and away, even those slightly low hits. Okay, there's both of those clubs hit. Let's go and check those numbers out in a little bit more detail. And then looking at the numbers, so we're going to look at club head speeds first. You see TSi2 on the bottom, TSi3 on the top. So 106.8, 106.9, identical. Ball speed, absolutely identical. Launch just came out a little bit lower with TSi2. Did have that one there that just obviously popped my averages down, that real sort of low in the face strike. But I'm going to leave it in there because it's part of miss hits, and we don't always hit the ball perfectly. So spin, very, very similar there, and you can see carry distance just a little bit more with the TSi3 at 276, just with that slightly lower spin, that slightly higher launch, just obviously giving me those extra few yards on that carry distance. But both, to be honest, in that very healthy area. So distance wise, tipping it just TSi3, but dispersion wise, TSi2 wins. Right, okay guys, there we go. So there's TSi2, TSi3 in the fairway bracket. So again, offering two types of clubs, one in the 3, just a little bit more adjustability for dialing in with that weight change there, as well as the hosel, and TSi2 maybe that little bit more forgiveness, a little bit ease of launch, and just with that increased MOI with that weight in that back section. And for me, it was a tighter dispersion with the 2 against the 3. And the only thing just for me a negative, and again I saw it in the last TS as I mentioned before, just the way the club sits a little bit addressed. It's just, I mean, the driver sits so square, which I absolutely love. These just sit a little bit toed in. We've seen a lot of loft there. You know, that's maybe the only negative I would say in these clubs for me. Okay, post comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Are you a fairway player? Are you a Titleist fairway player? Love to hear your thoughts. Is that on your radar to go out and try? Or are you putting more driver and then maybe missing a fairway wood out and going hybrids or long utility irons? Love to hear your thoughts as always, so post your comments in the section down below. If you enjoy the videos, haven't subscribed, you know what to do, just hit that subscribe button, very much appreciate it. And while you're there, just give that bell a ring and then you get notifications any new videos. As soon as they land on my channel, you'll be one of the very first ones to watch it, so you will not miss a thing. Okay, appreciate your support as always, and hopefully catch up with you all very soon.